Tilt Studio Katy. This arcade promises fun at full blast, and has better than average offerings in terms of mini golf and laser tag. Plus their signature Tilt-A-Whirl. But family entertainment centers can be an issue when it comes to price. So, is this a good place to spend some of your time? Find out in this review. Tilt Studio is a brand of family entertainment centers that have a Tilt-A-Whirl as their unique appeal. This does get them on the map if using the LogRide app, which is how Tilt Studio Katy came onto my radar. Their parent company, Nickel and Dimes Incorporated, which is just an awesome name for an arcade chain, traces its history back to the first Tilt arcade that opened in the Six Flags Mall in Arlington, Texas. And their brand has evolved from Goldmine and Tilt arcades to the current Tilt Studios and Tilt 10 portfolio. Historically, Nickel and Dimes had a lot of arcade locations, over 200 nationwide, and their primary focus was on the arcade games in the Goldmine and Tilt arcades. They even moved into manufacturing arcade games as the decline of arcades began to set in. In 2011, Nickels and Dimes decided to move their arcades to a larger family entertainment center model that included things like mini bowling, mini golf, and laser tag, along with food options from their pizza brand, with Katy being one of the first Tilt Studio locations. Although there were tables where food might have been sold, the current setup doesn't have food, which isn't really necessary with a mall food court and the surrounding food options in Katy. By 2021, only 5 Tilt arcades remained, with most of the 100 locations being closed throughout the years, or being converted to the Tilt Studio model. The Tilt 10 model is an even larger version that includes a full bowling alley, hint the 10 for the 10 pins of bowling. The Katy Mills Mall has historically been one of my favorite malls in the Houston area, between its original theming and focus on more entertaining stores, with the Rainforest Cafe really exemplifying the feel of this mall. Katy Mills saw an ownership change in 2006, and a steady decline as the theming became old and ownership focused less on the overall charming experience. This, combined with many stores closing and relocating over the years, have made the mall feel much more generic compared to its original charm, with the fun simplicity of its island carousel now symbolizing the overall feel of the mall in general. Though there are a few fun entertainment areas besides just Tilt Studio, including Slick City Action Park and Dig World, which is a construction theme park for kids and families. Tilt Studio does have anchor store status and is located in the former site of For Your Entertainment that was an original anchor store for the mall. Upon entering Tilt Studio, I did have to flag down an attendant to buy a game card. I went after 5 p.m. for the posted online special of $40 for $20, which is available weekdays after 5 p.m. The attendant, however, wasn't aware of this special, so you may have to show the website from your phone when actually requesting it, and you will need to go to the counter instead of buying from a kiosk. This is actually better than you might expect, as you still get the additional 40 bonus credits for buying a $40 game card, so you get a total of 200 credits. As I continued on the attractions, I did have to repeatedly flag down the attendants to get on those. And even though there were at least 2 attendants plus a supervisor, they weren't always available despite the main desk being very centrally located. And the supervisor strangely wouldn't run the attractions for you, just let you know that someone was on their way. This didn't prove too difficult, as you could just press the button on, say, the Tilt-A-Whirl or laser tag to get service, and there was just kind of a little wait. The hardest part was actually that you had to go to the desk to ask for the golf clubs after getting your ball from the machine, which just seemed like a weird setup, especially since there wasn't a sign explaining this. Mini bowling just had 5 frames, so it feels quick and short, and the one pin would not register as going down for me, so that was frustrating that it was broken. The mini golf course was actually really fun. Simple, but fun. So for most holes, it was easy to get in the hole in 2 putts, and holes in 1 were actually pretty possible. Though the holes themselves are a bit shallow, so sometimes the ball might just pop out on various occasions and not give you that hole in 1. The light amusement park theming was also pretty cool with my love of roller coasters. And the most interesting hole by far was the volcano, but putting up into it proved difficult, and it still didn't lead to a hole in 1 even if you got up there. You can take your time on this course, even redoing various holes if you want to, so you should be able to get your money's worth out of it if you want. And that's on top of an 18-hole course that is much longer than you normally see at a family entertainment center. Laser tag had one of the best arenas that I've seen. It's a bit small, but has 2 separate ramps to the second floor, plus a staircase that is blocked off nowadays for safety reasons. There are also walls to stand behind so that you can hide and get people, and the light jungle theming really helps make it an enjoyable time. I had a lot of issues with my gun as it kept saying I didn't have 2 hands on it, so I'd kind of double pay attention when the attendant shows you how to hold it, though maybe my gun was just slightly broken. Either way, my wife beat me at laser tag by a score of 4,500 to 1,500, or nearly 3,000 points. The video games here, this is an arcade at its heart after all, are spread throughout the Tilt studio. Most seem to be more expensive ticket games, which is on par for most arcades nowadays, with these ranging in the 10 credit or $2 a piece price range. There were cheaper games with even some at 2 or 3 credits a piece for more simple actual arcade games, so the pricing model here is very reasonable for what is offered. There are just only a few of the smaller games that I would be interested in playing, and even one of the shooting games I played seemed kinda broken, which is a bummer, especially with the history of Tilt Studios, that more cheap classic arcade games aren't here for guests to play. As for the centerpiece Tilt-A-Whirl, these aren't my favorite flat rides, as I get too dizzy on spinning rides. But my mom has the ticket bin for Kennywood's Tilt-A-Whirl at home, so there is a special connection to these rides. This version didn't spin too much. On my first ride, I had to really start leaning into the spins to try to get it going at all. It did have a bit more of a spin at the bottom of the course, where you could get 2 or 3 good whips once you got going. But then it slowed down considerably as it went to the higher side over by mini bowling. The cycles seemed pretty short as well. I'm thinking I got a longer ride on my first ride because the operator let it run twice in a row for me. The attendants seemed to want to be extra nice like this, but one of them told me that management has started to be a lot more strict about actually enforcing all of the rules like they're supposed to. This was still fun as an amusement ride if you haven't been on one of these in a while, which is going to be like most people living in Houston. And as I prefer less dizzying spinning rides, I do appreciate the toned down cycle it runs, even if other thrill seekers will want something more. So what about the price? Family entertainment centers can get expensive, fast, and I've easily spent $60 to do everything at one. Or in the case of in-the-game fun trackers, $50, and I still didn't get close to doing everything. So to only spend $20 to do everything that I wanted to, including having my wife play mini golf and laser tag with me, is a really great deal. The attractions are cheaper than average too. These will normally be around $7 to $8 a piece. The prices are not listed online, which is kind of a bummer for planning, but the prices are listed at the counter and were as follows. 40 credits or about $8 for mini golf, 28 credits or $5.60 for laser tag, 20 credits or $4 for the Tilt-A-Whirl, and 20 credits or $4 for mini bowl. This does assume you get the bonus for buying credits in $10 increments, which seems fair to assume. Using the weekday special, these prices would essentially be halved if you buy 200 credits for $20. Arcade games were fairly priced, with a few being 2 to 3 credits. These did have weird partial credits on some of them, so not exactly super easy to understand, but few arcades will have games for around 50 cents anymore. For $20, I was able to do the Tilt-A-Whirl twice, mini bowling, and have 2 people on mini golf and laser tag, with 8 credits left over to play 3 arcade games. They do have a VIP option, which makes games even cheaper with a 10% discount, but this requires getting over 1,200 points on a registered card. So likely not a way to save money unless you plan on visiting many times. You can share cards though, so if you're going with a large group a couple of times, you might be able to hit this number. Overall, how good is Tilt Studio Katy? This is a fun arcade and family fun center with above average mini golf and laser tag, a namesake amusement ride, and reasonably priced video games. Many of the game offerings are the ticket or expensive variety, which is in line with how modern arcades operate. But it is disappointing as Tilt Studio seems committed to having reasonably priced games for the few that they still have. Leveraging the weeknight special, you can easily spend an evening here as a family for $20 or even $40, which is great for this type of business. Even without a special, prices are below average, but not nearly as good of a deal. Despite not having a coaster or other signature attraction, I did enjoy my time here, and I'm excited to visit other Tilt Studios in my travels, as this still has the feel of what a classic arcade or family fun center should be, though there is always the possibility that it loses that focus in the name of progress. What has your experience been at family entertainment centers and arcades? If you visited other Tilt Studios, has the experience been similar? Let me know, and as always, Kapkun Krap.